What is going on, guys? Big Rye coming at you with the NFL Let's Watch. Pats Falcons. Let's see if I can access this this stream. I've been getting weird. YouTube's playing tricks on me right now, throwing me for a loop. I apologize, guys. I can't see the comments quite yet. I'm just updating some YouTube side of things. Like I said, they're just throwing me for a loop right now. I haven't even taken a look at the markets yet. What's going on, Tony? How you doing tonight? I'll pop my chat in here. How you doing, Tony? What's going on, Josh Allen? How you doing tonight? Okay. Hoping for a big game from Damian Harris. I'm guessing, is that fantasy related or is that, did you take an OU? Let's take a look at this market. I haven't looked at the market at all, so. Not a lot of bets. Only 52,682 bets so far in this game. Fantasy related, no prop though. I might consider half unit on Matt Ryan to throw a pick and full unit on Harris anytime. Tutter. Fat guy in the house.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm alright.
I'm still down with the sickness.
What? I don't even know what that means. Oh, that was that song.
Yeah. A little pop culture for the folks at home. So this line is up to Pats -7.
Yeah, I was heading that way.
A lot of market indicators pointing towards New England as well.
Yeah, but this is the worst. You can't betting New England now is really terrible idea.
Yeah, I think I'm
I
going to
think.
take the under in this game. And it looks like we're getting the best of the price right now. Under 47.5. Minus 108.
Josh Allen enjoying our pick video. That was one. It was one we're unsure of, Josh. I got to be honest.
We had like everything go wrong. It was actually quite comical. Like I think my camera fell at one point.
Sure. Yeah, you did.
My camera's not even. Man, my setup right now is just a disaster.
I'm okay with mine. I got to be honest. It's tight. It's tight, but I'll take it. I got this bad boy chair, which I'm very happy with.
That's good.
The Titan XL.
Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna try to fix my camera, and we'll see what happens. That could be bad news, but we'll see.
Why do they have Paul Rudd doing this intro? Thought he was from Kansas City.
I'm not too sure. I'm a big Paul Rudd fan. I liked his work in Delocated.
What about Ant-Man? You're a big Ant-Man guy?
Never heard of it.
I don't even know if that's a troll. I've heard of it. I've certainly never watched it, though.
Bills Colts is going to be a pretty good game. Especially
Pardon me, Big Rye?
I said Bills Colts is going to be a good game. I see that Logitech has taken over the stream. You know what I found out today, which is quite interesting, is that we use OBS Studio and Streamlabs. This entire time I thought that, yeah, look at my camera's already messed up. Apparently OBS Studio is separate from Streamlabs, and Streamlabs put Streamlabs OBS to make it look like they were like grouped up together. Apparently they have no connection.
Really?
Yeah. So I kind of actually want to switch off of Streamlabs because that's
hokey biz.
Yeah, it's pretty bad, especially considering it's like an open source.
Yeah.
None of this has anything to do with football, but I don't know, I just found it interesting.
I prefer open source stuff. It just because the big company can pull the rug out from you whenever they want. Like,
Ooh. All right.
We ready?
I think so. I don't know. It's hard to tell. This is a very low bet game. There's
Considering,
there's only 52,000 bets right now, and for a a primetime game, 53,000 now as we speak. Like, that is maybe the lowest this year. Like, we still have whatever 7 minutes until kickoff, so it'll probably hit around 55,000, but that's not a lot. That's like what like a lame early game on a Sunday gets.
Yeah, which is really weird considering the that what that tells me though is like this line is probably pretty solid then.
I think it has more to do with the teams. Like I think a lot of people aren't. Let me take a look at the rankings for these two teams. So New England, they're the 12th. Well, percentage-wise, 12th. So percentage and money-wise doesn't matter too much. We want to look at the number of bets for this. New England is 13th, and Atlanta is last at 32. So not a popular team. The least popular team to bet on has been the Atlanta Falcon games. And surprising enough, though, for this game, the Falcons actually have more money on the spread than the Pats do. But 87% of the money is on the Patriots money line. So
how far off that is that? Like it's 87%. How much do they need? They need 83, right?
At like comparative to their price right now, they're up to minus 344. So 344 divided by 444 is 77%. So it's about a 10% difference.
There's some exposure then,
but it might be balanced out with the additional money on the spread for the Falcons. But either way, like if the Pats win and the Falcons cover, it's not a good day for the books. Let's put it that way. No. What's going on, Fear? What's going on, Mickey?
Hey, Mickey.
Are you ready for some football? This is actually like, I know the public isn't crazy about this one. It's probably not going to get watched by too many people, but this is actually going to, I feel like this is going to be a good game tonight.
I have a little bit of money on Falcons plus 6.5, so with really good juice, like plus 116. So we'll see.
Mac Jones going to tear it up. I watched Kurt Warner has a YouTube channel now, and he does breakdowns on quarterbacks, and he did a very, very complimentary breakdown of Mac Jones, highlighting some of his better throws this year. And like Mac Jones is played surprisingly well. He's probably been the best rookie quarterback this year. I think that's easy to say. Oh, here we go. Terry's on the Pats by 10. Mark is on the Pats by 10. Strahan on the Pats by 9. So a clean sweep for the Patriots as far as the three people picking.
And the covers, too.
Mr. Weirdbeard, if the NFL is not rigged and the distribution of league wealth is a myth, then the Patriots will win 35-6. I like it. Calling his shot. Josh Allen said, Cousin Sal on the Falcons 30-27. Let it be known he is 0-4 in his 4 losses. Well, if he's taking shots like Atlanta, that's what his record's going to be.
Well, maybe this is his time to start regressing to the mean.
Yeah.
Ooh, I better check. Survivor. There's only 3 left.
Matt Ryan, no Ridley or Patterson is going to have another dud.
Hey, Eddie, how are you, buddy? Thank you.
Yeah, appreciate the kind words, Eddie. That's really nice of you to say. I didn't follow the line movement all week, fat guy, but I think this was at 6 at open, and it's been bet up to 7. Do you know
4.
if that's a recent? It was at 4 early on?
Yeah.
Wow.
Not for Pinnacle, but Heritage was 4.
Yeah,
I was busy. I missed it. I'm pissed.
What should we call those books?
They're offshores.
Yeah, I'm trying to we got to come up with some sort of term because
silver offshores.
Yeah, that's a good way of looking at it.
It's like Heritage isn't bad. It's just like it's not the. I mean, Heritage is actually really good. I got to give them credit so far.
What's going on, Otto? How you doing tonight? If Goff is a no-go this weekend for Detroit, Tim Boyle will get the start. That's I read a stat that Tim Boyle's actually got -1 yards from being Aaron Rodgers' backup and having to take so many kneels on winning plays. Do you guys think Matt Ryan could be like Stafford if he went to a contender at this point?
That's an interesting theory because he's kind of a guy that's not really like spoken about. I still think he has gas in the tank.
I think it's past him. I think the league's passed him by.
Yeah, no, I still think he has gas in the tank. Like I'm not saying he's gonna be excellent, but like he can still win you some games.
Oh yeah, like he's still a respectable quarterback. I just like if we put him on the Rams right now, do you think they're better or worse than with Stafford?
Stafford's better, obviously.
Well, I don't know if it's super obvious.
I think it is.
Well, that's kind of what he's getting at is.
Yeah, but you're talking like that's pretty high line. Like Stafford's a top 8 guy. Like it's tough to rule that one out. You know, I think he's still better than a lot of guys that play now.
Mickey brings up a good team. He said he could help Steelers.
Yeah, I don't even know if that's like how lateral that is. I'm trying to think of a really good example. I think he could help Carolina. I think he could probably help New Orleans.
Mickey said take the Pitts under. Billy B's going to double team him out of the tunnel. And I like what Otto said. He said he picked Boyle off in high school, which I think is one of the better lines I've seen in our comment section.
He picked who?
He picked Tim Boyle off in high school. Fear thinks that Matt Ryan on the Colts this year over Wentz, he would show he still has gas. I think that's an interesting one. Wentz has played like decent though. Like Wentz has been like secretly, above average.
Yeah. There's been some full effort from him too. Let's be honest. Where did the Tim Boyle chat come? Like where'd the reference come from?
Well, Tim Boyle might start this week for the Detroit.
Oh, he might act. Oh, really?
And then Otto was saying that he picked him off in.
He probably did. I bet you that's not a lie. Like I bet you that's a real.
It's so far stretched that it's got to be true. Let's take a look here at Wentz is 13th this year in NEA, and let's take a look at what Matt Ryan is. Matt Ryan's is 21st. So Mac Jones and Matt Ryan have actually been very, very similar quarterbacks according to NEA. And Matt Ryan only slightly better than Roethlisberger, so that brings it back to Mickey talking about with the Steelers. I really do like the NEA stat. I always refer back to it.
I'm not as sold, to be honest, but as far as like a general metric, because nothing's perfect, right? Like that's another argument. Like, Like you could say anything with stats. Yes, you could, but that doesn't mean that some stats aren't better than others. You know what I mean? So you're not looking for a perfect picture, right? So
Here's another one. Mr. Weirdbeard said, if we're throwing out accolades, I tackled Mario Addison twice when he was running fullback for Tarrant High School. I love this stuff. Fat Guy and I are in Canada, so we never got to play against anyone cool.
we never got to play. Period.
I think the best story I have is I got dominated. Oh, well, myself and my team got dominated in basketball by a few guys that went on to be prominent college basketball players in Canada. But like, what does that mean?
Yeah. What? Yeah. What does that mean?
What's going on, Jamie? Mickey's
Nice. Here we
brother
go.
tackled Desmond Howard in the Gator Bowl.
What?
And Fat Guy, did you contest pick or did you pick the Raiders?
What this week?
Yeah.
I think I
Cincinnati.
contest picked them. Yeah.
Do you have a strong feeling either way?
No, I don't.
Bengals -1.
No, I really, really don't. That's one of the games I don't. So I missed out on a bunch of plays this week because I was busy at 4:00 on a Sunday trying to get here for the stream. So it's unfortunate.
Is this?
Go ahead.
Trent Brown's wearing shorts. Is that normal? I can't remember a lineman wearing shorts.
I don't know if those are shorts. Maybe they're rolled up a little bit and his socks aren't rolled up. That guy is huge. So like maybe there's an equipment thing. Like, okay, we only have like triple XL pants. You know what I mean?
He's wearing JJ Taylor's pants for this game.
He probably is. He's 6'8". He's 360 pounds. Total bust for the Raiders. Very unfortunate. One of those guys that I would imagine doesn't put the effort in or didn't put the effort in when he got the contract. And those helmets from Atlanta are sick.
A lot of the throws that Kurt Warning highlighted by Mac Jones were to Hunter Henry, so I'm wondering if that's an early favorite target for him. I don't know enough about the breakdown of targets on the Pats.
Oh, wow. Don Pham. Remember Deion Jones? The hype around him?
He was awesome though. Like when he was healthy, he played great.
Yeah, he's good. It's just that I just remember we made those season total videos. How much hype everyone has for one player on their team.
Yeah.
Nah, man, we're going to the Super Bowl, and then you take the under, and they're losing their minds. You know, and I think most of those unders hit, to be honest.
Well, what was funny about the Falcons one is people were really defensive, and a lot of it had to do with they said once he got hurt, like that team wasn't the same. But like, if your entire team revolves around one player, and that player is also not a quarterback, like it's
yeah,
tough.
or how about this? It's just a load of bull. Like you can, it's just one of those loser justifications. Oh, someone got hurt. They're not the same. Like, dude, that's every team. That's literally every team.
The thing about like Jones, I felt like he was like one of the first like speed type linebackers.
The first ones that was actually successful.
Yeah.
Like think about like there was Dayon Buchanan. They were the first round pick for the Cardinals.
Well, he was like a
Like,
safety that got hybrid down to a linebacker
well, they wanted
by
him
the
to play
Cards.
linebacker, right?
Yeah,
Like, I
and I
mean,
thought it
you
was
could,
good. Like I like that. Like I
it
feel
didn't
like
work
going
out, but
smaller.
it was an attempt, right? They might have found their guy with Isaiah Simmons because, I
Mhm.
mean, he could pretty much play anywhere. It feels like not. The problem is though, it's not anywhere great so far. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Kind of like when the Browns drafted from Michigan, the safety. I always forget his name. Kick returner, plays on the Giants.
Peppers.
Yeah, Jabril Peppers.
Yep.
But then for some of those guys, like you kind of need that in like if you're playing a Baltimore, if you're even playing in Arizona, I think that's almost necessary, right? Like if you have a speed guy, because you don't necessarily need him to make make a one-on-one tackle with someone like Lamar Jackson, but you need a guy to create time for other players to get there. You know
Well,
what I mean?
less teams like line up in the eye and try to run it down your throat. Like right now, what is it? Tennessee when Henry's healthy, and Detroit. Like those are the only. The Pats will do it on occasion.
The Browns can do it.
The Browns do it. Baltimore can do it as well. Like it's like I feel like the league you're just more flexible to play the pass.
Yeah,
Than to
you're
play the
better off
run.
to play speed, right? Like that's why like guys like Joe Schobert play very, very hard and good football year after year. And you'd be hard pressed to find. I'd say 1 in 5 football fans know who Joe Schobert is.
But I think like Tampa Bay's defense, I think Dallas now with Micah Parsons, like the guys that are like super athletic at linebacker and super fast, I feel like those defenses are just harder to play against.
Parsons plays DN sometimes too. Like
he's just a maniac on the field.
pretty good,
like,
man.
It's pretty crazy what he's able to do.
Yeah.
But like, how is a guy that good of an athlete and getting passed up by like? Because what did he get drafted? Like 11th.
11th.
Like I don't. It's like the Aaron Donald stuff. Like how can 10 other teams pass on having that guy on your team?
Well, it goes down to the same argument we have every single stream, and I don't mind having it because I can't believe it. The Dolphins traded up another first-round pick for Jalen Waddle. I'm fine with Jalen Waddle as a receiver, but like, you're just not gonna get that win probability added from a selection like that. You're just not. Like, it's the idiocy is crazy for a multi-billion-dollar franchise.
Did Waddle get selected before? What was he, like 6th?
I think 5th. He was after Jamar Chase. Because who would it went Trevor Lawrence, Zach Wilson, Trey Lance, Jamar Chase, Jalen Waddle, Penei Sewell, and then 7 was J.C. Horn. And then we're going to go 8. I can't remember 8.
Eight was Horn.
And I think 9 was Patrick Surtain.
Here's the list here on the stream. Does
Oh, I missed Kyle Pitts. I missed Kyle
Who,
Pitts in there. 8 was J.C. Horn. 9 was Patrick Surtain. 10 Devonta Smith, Justin Fields, Micah Parsons. There you go.
I know Fat Guy and I are fans of soccer, and we barely watch ML. Like,
Barely.
have you ever watched an MLS game?
Yeah, not very like. Not. I don't even have cable though, right? Like,
Have you been to a Whitecaps game?
yeah, yeah. I'm just thinking how many. Like when they were in the MLS. Yeah, probably 6. I used to go a lot when they were like when I was younger and stuff, and they were at Swangard. I've probably been to Whitecaps games maybe in total 28, 30, and maybe only 6 or 7 since they've been. Oh, I went to some at Empire, so I got to go 10. They're okay. They're okay. My dad goes pretty often. I haven't been to
Who
one in years though. If that's a
does the line move at all if Micah Parsons gets hurt for Dallas?
That's a good question. I think he's earned half a point. Whereas, like, quarterback's a side that doesn't count. Kyle Pitts isn't really going to move the line. Jalen Waddle definitely won't. Devonta Smith, absolutely not. Rashawn Slater would, I think, for the Chargers a little bit.
Does Sewell move the line for Detroit if he's out?
I don't think so.
Which one of these guys, like, actually moves the line in this top?
I think
16?
Slater and Michael Parsons. I really do think those are your two. Quarterbacks are going to move the line. There's no... Nice play, Duggar, on Kyle Pitts here.
I saw that Kwity Paye was the top-rated defensive player to PFF, so...
Yeah, he has a chance at winning Defensive Player of the Year, but it's going to be hard to beat Micah Parsons. Why is there a flag down that? Oh, big shot. Oh, Odafe Owe is going to have a chance too.
The Giants have outside linebacker to Ojulari with 5.5 sacks.
The Giants have a guy who has 5.5 sacks who's a rookie.
Yeah, second round pick.
Wow.
Aziz Ujulari. Paye only has 1 sack. I just don't know if that's...
I thought he had more.
He's got 10
They
tackles
care about
and
that
1
stuff
sack.
more. They care about that stuff a lot more. Like,
yeah.
Yeah, you're pretty much gonna. It's gonna be tough to usurp Parsons, injury aside.
Second in tackles, first in sacks.
Yeah, that's gonna be tough.
And nobody has more than 2 interceptions, so.
Who's got 2? There. Asante Samuel gets a few more interceptions. There's a shot there too. He hasn't had like the greatest season yet either. So I feel like when you're a young cornerback, you get fooled on like pretty like chintzy things. You know what I mean? Like that's gonna happen to you a couple times a season.
Live line is still at 7. The money line's pretty much the same as open, but the OU's down to 43.5. So the one thing that Kurt Warner highlighted is just how quickly, the combination of how quickly Mac Jones is making his reads and how quickly he's getting the ball out is really what's giving him the success, which to me, like, that's like, this guy's going to have long-term success.
Cornerstones for you. That's for sure.
And he even had a throw where he stepped up in the pocket when there was pressure on the outside. Like, it's it's very promising start to Mac Jones's career. And like I did get to see like the highlights. Like he wasn't going over every single pass. Like it felt like all the highlights. So it can be a little bit misleading.
I don't think he has a very high ceiling though, but he's going to be high enough to be competent. But like then again, like sky is the limit, isn't it? If like look at Brady. Brady's the worst athlete in the NFL by a mile. He probably knows that too, and they don't seem to have trouble winning.
Yeah, they talked about like Warner talked about the thing with Mac Jones is his arm is limited, but like if you're making quick decisions and you're getting the ball out, and like he said, you got to be able to make these key throws, and that's the ones that he was highlighting. He's saying like these are key throws, like ones that are like third and long, and he's threading the needle and making good decisions. Like I don't know, like not every throw is going to be a 40-yard back shoulder throw.
Yeah.
Like it's pretty unnecessary to, it's kind of like the running back thing for me. Like not every running back needs to be 4.3. Like, you can lose out on so many things.
There's a difference though. Like I don't think that's that good of an analogy in the sense that like if you are an accurate or reasonably accurate deep threat, like you just have to get and you have deep threats, the corners have to play off you, and that makes your throws easier in the short distance, right? Whereas like a running back, it's not exactly like that. So
would you rather have Daniel Jones or Mac Jones to win a game today?
I mean, it's hard to go with Daniel Jones at this point, and that's a more accurate passer, oddly enough. So just because of all the other stuff's really bad.
I saw another stat today that the Atlanta Falcons are the only team to not beat the Bill Belichick Patriots.
Interesting. That's somewhat interesting.
It's only 6
There's got to be
games.
someone though, right?
Yeah, it's only 6 games. But it's there's no team that's above 500.
Detroit's beat them.
Yep. There's Denver and Seattle, I think, were the only 2 teams that were 500 against Belichick Patriots.
Miami's got to be close too.
I can't remember where they were.
Nice step. That's fine. That's completely fine.
I think Josh McDaniels is also a guy that doesn't get enough praise.
Did Damian Harris get ruled out?
I don't think so, because I know Josh Allen was saying he was high on him.
He was questionable and then he got cleared, but like, I don't know. It's just strange. I haven't seen him on here too much. I didn't start him, thankfully, but
Josh Allen said he started.
yeah, I haven't seen him too much. Is that Rudy Johnson, the fullback? Sure is. Yeah. I felt like I've seen more Ramondre Stevenson this game.
Stevenson played pretty well last week, so I can see them sticking with
did.
him.
That was part of my reasoning for shuttering him.
Pretty big win here before the snap for Atlanta.
Do I have him in the Big Ryan the Fat Guy League?
I think you have Harris.
I do. I didn't start him. And he was the odd man out. I went with Eckler, Connor, and Montgomery. That's a pretty good 3-headed monster,
Yeah,
especially considering I had Derrick Henry on IR.
Yeah, no kidding. It's nice to have Montgomery back.
Yeah, so technically he'd be my 5th running back. That's crazy.
You and I have both been very fortunate with running backs and injuries outside of Henry. Like even James Conner. Like his value's gone up a lot since the Chase Edmonds injury. 3rd and 8 here for the Pats. They're bringing motion. The guy's coming over, so it looks like man. It was very confusing coverage, and I think Mac Jones just decided to air that one out because he really didn't have Henry. But it seems like Hunter Henry is the most comfortable receiving threat for Mac Jones. I remember earlier in the year, Collinsworth really laid into the Pats for not using their top-end tight ends. You remember that?
Yes. But, like, they don't use them in terms of, like, production necessarily.
Who's that backup in Atlanta? I recognize his face.
That's Josh Rosen.
Thank you.
Even though I like calling him Sam Rosen. What's the live total, Big Rye?
42.5. It's been a slow start offensively.
That's good for the under, right?
Yeah, like it's so easy to say now. Like it just feels like this game it's going to be one of those games.
See, that's the thing, though, is we
Like,
need to convert that feels into a number, right?
Yeah, like it, and also like after you get to start watching a game, obviously like emotions kick in. This game could easily still go over. Like it's. Tony, you've missed a stall drive for the Pats, 3 and out for the Falcons, and now the Pats just drove down and got a short field goal. So they're up 3-0.
What's on the menu tonight, Big Rye?
We had like a beef stir fry. Turned out really good.
Yeah? What recipe?
It was like a Vietnamese style.
Yeah.
We've been doing Hello Fresh, so
Oh, really?
yeah. The we did it again today. Their recipes, they'll say like add this, this, and this, and then at the very end it'll say like in a medium bowl. But it's very like it's annoying because you'll be cooking something in the pan. Because what they do is they make it like 6 easy steps to do it, but really it's like 20 steps inside of 6. So they'll put like 4 or 5 steps in each one. And then like midway, like it'll be like put this in a pan, and then it'll have a bunch of ingredients, and it'll be like put this in a bowl, and you end up chucking all that stuff in the pan. Like if you're very literal and you're reading step like word for word. So
cooking is it's an improper. It's not baking. It's
yeah,
not
which is nice. Like we did it today, and it turned out just fine. I did a bad one though, but like they've all turned out fine, so it's not that bad. I've been watching the Kenji videos. I actually really like it because for me, like just have limited experience cooking. And it's funny to say this, but like there's times where it's like it'll say like cut, a certain cut for a certain vegetable, and it's like I've never done this. I don't know how to do this. And like you get to see that watching those cooking videos, and it helps like you learn the right technique and how to actually do it properly.
Yeah, well, a lot of those like anyone can make those cuts. It's just slow.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, or like if you have to julienne something, like you can just get wear a glove. It's the most dangerous item in the kitchen by a mile is a mandolin. Holy smokes. Be careful. We use mandolin. It's how you cut things really, really small and finely. It's like a sliding blade, but like you should wear a glove and use the guard. It's for real dangerous.
Oh, I know what you're talking about now.
Yeah, I rarely bust that out, but like if you're gonna do like scallop potatoes, which I don't like them as much as regular potatoes or Greek potatoes. Oh, nice stop. Or what's another good? Carrots. It works really well with carrots. I gotta give it credit.
I like Chef John. My wife doesn't like Chef John's voice.
Neither does mine.
So we end up. I'll throw on YouTube on the TV at night because like I'm like fat guy. I don't have cable, so like I just strictly use YouTube and.
We have good internet though.
yeah, that's true. So my wife really likes watching the Kenji videos. She likes Kenji like as a person, so I think that helps.
I'm a big Chef John guy. I like him because when I first started cooking, he really helped. Like really, really, really helped, and it got me comfortable. I don't use his stuff as much anymore. You know what I mean? But like when you have very little experience, it's someone like that on YouTube is very helpful. That was a whole.
I probably have a food processor, but why do you say that, Mickey? Why?
There's because food processors have settings on some of the blades when you feed the food in. So what he's talking about an even easier way.
Oh, like instead of chopping, if it says dice onions, you could do it in a food processor.
Yeah. Although I got to be honest, like dicing an onions is probably the easiest thing in the world once you get good at it.
Yeah. I know that like with HelloFresh, they'll have meals and it'll say like, oh, this one's 35 minutes to cook. But usually like it's, it'll take me 55 to an hour. But that's only because like you have to go slower, right, to prep certain things, and not everything lines up.
When I make butter chicken, I just make like way too much of the sauce on purpose, and then I just jar it and put it in the fridge, and then I'll season my chicken thighs or whatever, heat it up, and then just make a cheap butter chicken. Just add it to the pan after, and don't make sure the pan's on low heat because the sugar will caramelize really fast and it could burn.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry, Josh. I'm into this stuff.
There was a nice pass defense there, the defense.
Look at this setup from Gatorade. Imagine you got to be the Gatorade guy for every stadium. Put up the display. Speaking of food products.
Yeah, they're dangerous. I even find it with grating, like with grating stuff, like if you want to grate garlic. Oh, that was a nice catch. I don't think he got both feet in.
Yeah, I don't think he got both feet in at all.
Is that Tajay Sharp?
Yeah. They're pretty thin at receiver on this team.
Well, like, I don't mind Tajay Sharp, but that's the Ridley, taking a sabbatical it really does hurt this team. Because that makes Tajay Sharp and Russell Gage their two most prominent receivers outside of Kyle Pitts. Little known. I'm just looking at their roster right now. They have both Keith Smith and Lee Smith at fullback tight end, which I find interesting.
Keith Smith, San Jose State University alum.
That is correct.
Yeah, mandolin is just the most dangerous item in a kitchen by a mile.
I think as far as like I'm very very like beginner cook, and I'm finding that roasting vegetables is like the easiest and tastiest thing you can make.
It's up there.
It's just so easy. Like you cut up some vegetables, you put oil in a bunch of spices and salt and pepper. And
Yes,
you
that's
just
it.
bake it. That's it. And then they turn out delicious every time. I don't know why, but they do.
I went on a bulk meat run last week, so I spent 3 hours butchering chicken. So they're way cheaper to buy full ones. So
Do you like
I'm
vacuum
getting-
seal them after, or like what do you do with
you use
or Ziplocs?
you get a big bowl of water with Ziplocs so you can get all the air out,
Yeah.
and then I have like a hanging system so that I can wipe the water off before I put it in the freezer. So, and then I save all the I get a pot going for stock. So, because you're gonna have all sorts of weird bones and stuff like that, and then you just make stock while you do it. So, stock is very, very easy. It's the basis of every soup too.
Fear said he's seen plenty of people burn veggies. That's because you're dating those good-looking girls. You got to find yourself a fat, ugly chick to make you some good veggies.
What are you doing?
Mickey saying the Maillard or Maillard? I don't know. Maillard sounds more right to me. Talking about the that's how the roasted vegetables taste so good. The I don't know. The longer I cook the roasted veggies, I feel like the better they are. But I guess it depends on the size and all that stuff.
Yeah, but you have to know which vegetables cook at what speed and then cut them to the appropriate sizing.
Yeah.
Root vegetables take longer to cook typically.
Yeah, I did potatoes and carrots, and I wasn't sure.
Those work.
Yeah, I wasn't sure.
You can't really
if the
overcook
carrots...
potatoes or
Yeah.
carrots for that matter.
Josh Allen said, I watched that first episode of the new Hard Knocks. What team is it?
Is it Dallas or the Raiders? If it is Raiders, how salacious.
It might be the Colts.
Oh, right.
In season. Was it good, Josh? I've been watching the weekly Mic'd Up on the NFL, and those are just terrific to watch. It's very interesting to hear the players in game. And then I just found this Kurt Warner quarterback breakdown, so I was watching some of those. I'm surprised with how little views the Kurt Warner videos are getting right now.
It's hard to get traction on YouTube. It really, 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 really is. You know?
I think it's just not a lot of people know that he's got a channel, but like...
Yeah, but that's part of it, right? Like, it's the type of content that YouTube likes isn't... well, there's Harris. Decent run, too. Isn't exactly that type of thing. I think YouTube is heading towards a kids thing. Like, I really think that's the direction of it. So, it's hard to gain traction.
It's a really nice run by Harris there. The one thing I will say, Fat Guy, is that they generate more money off of like adult ads than kids ads, but it's who knows what legally's been going on behind the scenes for them. I'll have to check out the Colts Hard Knocks. I forgot that there was an in-season Hard Knocks.
I kind of like the ball security of Harris right now, like because he had some issues early on, but it seems like he's got a tighter wrap right now. Of course,
A
I'm going
lot
to
of
say
these,
that in the
yeah,
next play, right?
yeah. Well, he just feels like a strong, powerful back. You know who's been bothering me lately with how they run with the ball is Josh Jacobs. Very loose with the ball, and it's just not smart.
How do you get a holding penalty on a run play on defense?
I don't know, but he's Mike Pennell Jr., I believe, is very confused.
Ooh.
The Colts are an interesting team right now, too, because they're kind of surging.
I'm a Colts fan. I got to be honest.
Yeah.
I like the coach like a lot. That's
Well,
kind of where my like team,
it's been
which team I like at the moment, where
yeah,
it lies.
it's them and the Browns, right? Like between
Yeah.
coaching and
Yeah.
roster makeup, like both teams are a little bit lacking at quarterback compared to some of the top teams.
Yeah. There's
but,
no
like,
denying that. No denying that.
It's something that you and I have been like almost obsessive about, like the full team.
And there's like it's the thing is I can't hate on them for like they inherited this quarterback. There's no way of getting a better one. Like Wentz was probably the best you could do. Like, do you know what I mean?
And
Like,
Wentz has played well. Like I pulled up the
yeah, he's done okay.
I still don't have it, but slightly above average. That's pretty much what you'd expect, or like what you would hope for. Like I don't think anyone thinks he's going to be MVP caliber like he was to start his career.
Yeah, but that's not what they're looking for, though, right?
Well, I'm sure that's what they want, but it's the market dictates what you're going to have really at quarterback. You can't just go out and sign Aaron Rodgers every year. Doesn't work.
Exactly. You're 100% right. Yeah, Mickey, we had some crazy stuff. One of my friends that works with gas and oil thinks that there's going to be a shortage. So, and that there might be like a weird like environmental lockdown just because we'll be short of supplies. So, see if any of that stuff happens. So, just because you can't get in and out, like the one way to get here by road is blocked off right now from the rest of Canada.
Yeah, Josh, I saw that, and his agent doubled down saying that he is vaccinated. So, very confusing story. Like, whoever leaked that rumor, or if it's true, like, very confusing. Harris probably isn't happy with himself on that play, but it turned out pretty good. Yeah, like think about like a former chef, like I don't it's not exactly a reliable source.
Yeah, I think he probably has some pretty bad relationship with the staff on a lot of these.
With a lot of people. Like I don't think a lot of people like him. He's not really a likable person.
No.
If you from the sounds of it.
Yes.
Seahawks fan today as a friend in Merritt had to evacuate the town. That's like, it's pretty, scary thinking that something could happen where you have to evacuate your home and go somewhere completely different. Like, I can't even start thinking about what that would be like. You love the play action pass to the same guy. Yeah, it depends like how these defenses are playing him, but Harris was wide open on that play. I guess because the linebackers crashed down, and then the second they see him not get the ball, they're running
I don't think
back
the
in.
receiver at the top, 16, was set. Touchdown.
Nelson Aguilar.
I don't think 16 wasn't set. I think they could have called a flag on that one.
Yeah, Jacoby Myers. Mac Jones excited about that one too. I'm not sure what the Falcons are doing on defense, but either way, that's a very nice design play by the Patriots, and Aguilar gets to walk in, essentially. The live OU is 44.
Ooh, that was close.
The live line is Pats minus 13, minus 700 on the money line.
N'Keal Harry is quite the bust. Yeah, you could say it about a lot of people, though. Like, it hasn't worked out. It's just surprising how many misses the Patriots have. You know, not the best drafting team. But then again, like, it makes you wonder, like, how much drafting is just a crapshoot, like pure luck. Because how much information is one team getting between the others? The only time I can remember that is when they sent PIs, private investigators, to follow Justin Blackman around. The only team that didn't do that was Jacksonville. Only team in the running, let's say. And every team knew he was a drunk except Jacksonville. So
it's
that probably set a precedent, though. That's probably a story when they talk about scouting that's probably brought up all the time, I would imagine.
Well, the other thing too is, doesn't it feel like the Patriots specifically are probably the team most likely to just have like the most fair competition for any position? Like, I don't think that they go, oh, and N'Keal Harry is a first round pick, he's going to play over, Jacoby Myers or what. Like, no matter how they do, like, I bet you there's quite a few teams that do end up playing guys that aren't quite as good just because of where they're
that's
drafted.
Fair. But there's still a lot of guys getting beat out that probably shouldn't, you know what I mean? And if that's the case. And another argument, though, is my guess is resources. Because Bill is the GM and the head coach. I don't know how you would have the time. And I would imagine he only gets paid $9 million a year. Okay, only $9 million. That's a lot. For a coach and a GM, and probably the greatest coach ever.
It came out today. He's making $18 million a year.
Oh, did it?
Yeah,
they always said 9.
I don't know if I posted it in the BRFG. I don't know if I did.
Oh, there must be some provision they never bring up, because it used to be 8.5 or 9.
Yeah, he was. They talked about the 10 highest paid coaches, and
because that
Belichick
puts him
was one at 18.
Saban.
Yeah, 2 was Pete Carroll. I think Pete Carroll is like 12. I found it very interesting that this is talking about all the major sports. Kyle Shanahan was like 8th on the list, and he was like the 5th highest or 6th highest NFL.
Surprised some EPL managers aren't getting more money than that.
You just made a good point. Like, I don't know if EPL was considered. I'm thinking like North American sports. So,
okay, like Zidane should get paid a lot more. He should have. He's not the coach anymore, but.
Well, you figure like Pepe or I forget the
Pep
other
Guardiola,
guy's name.
you mean?
Yeah.
I don't like him. So.
Oh, who's the other guy? I feel like he's an Italian guy.
There's the guy who coaches Chelsea is pretty good.
Pete's stealing money, said Mickey.
Yeah, he is.
I'll see if I can.
Oh, who are we talking about? This guy should be the The highest paid coach in the world should be whatchamacallit, what's his name? The German guy, Jurgen Klopp for Liverpool. There's a lot of reasons I don't like Pep, Tony. I think his style of football is mostly boring, and I think that he's had moderate results for coaching super teams with unbelievable rosters. I'm not a super big EPL fan anymore. Like, I don't watch religiously. So when I was into the Champions League, he just never impressed me. So never liked him. Oh, nice pump. You know, Manchester City spent $2 billion on players in 2 years. It's hard for me to like you unless you're winning it. You better win everything. Mind you, I'm not an expert in EPL, and I'm very loose viewer, if that could even be a term. And Mike Davis having a tough year.
All right, I found the tweet here.
But yeah, going back, like I don't know if they have as much resources dedicated.
All right, so Belichick makes $18 million a year. Pete Carroll and Sean Payton are tied for second at $14 million a year. Andy Reid $12 million.
Popovich makes sense.
Popovich $11.5.
And
Same with Mike Tomlin.
How is Shanahan and Carroll on this list? This is crazy for them to be on this list.
Kyle Shanahan $9.5 million. Jimbo Fisher for Texas A&M. Is that I'm guessing football?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
And then Steve Kerr. Steve Kerr makes sense as well.
I have a question, Tony Meatballs. Don't you feel a little bit like salty almost? Like yeah, you won the premiership, but like you spent $2 billion. Like, I'm sorry, the bar's gotta be a little higher than winning the premiership. I understand how difficult that is, but it's not fair. Like, you're playing teams with God who spent like not even like less than like 5% of that. Like the bottom end of the premiership. You should be winning more. I just think you should be they should have been more competitive in the Champions League, right? That's why I like Bayern as a franchise. Bayern Munich is the only soccer team that's competitive in Europe. That wow, nice first down. Bayern Munich's the only actually make money soccer franchise that's competitive in Europe, right? Like everything else is just like a weird salary dump, like operating losses. All those teams. Mind you, City's allowed their time. City was in the toilet for I don't even know how long. Man, nice runs here from 30.
I was thinking of Jose Mourinho.
Oh, he's Portuguese, and he's had very, very, very poor results since winning the Champions League with Inter Milan. Yeah, that's what I mean, Tony. It's just not a fair thing. Like, that's why I'm unimpressed. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, you spent $2 billion more. It's just so much money in that league. And that's just on the players. It's just on buying players. Like, salaries and all that stuff. It's just crazy. It's literally crazy. You have to do better. And soccer, there's less variance than a sport like baseball, right? So like your dollar goes further in soccer, I feel, at least. Champions League's the hardest trophy to win in sports. I don't even think it's an argument. I don't think there's any argument someone could tell me where it's not the hardest. Not the World Cup, not the Super Bowl. Although in North American sports, I think the Stanley Cup's got to get the nod there, because that's a rough sport, and you're gonna play that many games. You know what I mean?
Oh, what a huge sack! And Matt Ryan.
Oh man,
picked
come
up some
on,
sort
dude.
of some sort of foot toe injury on the play.
And that being said, Tony, that goes the same for Barcelona and Real Madrid. Like, Madrid was pretty impressive to win it, 3 times in a row? Like, from like with that roster, but there's still, like, even Madrid at its low point was still like a completely star-studded. Like, these are super teams, realistically. These are all-star teams in any other league, so EPL is really hard to beat, Tony. There's blood all over Matt Ryan.
I think it's from his elbow.
Oh yeah, it looks like it is. That's where you would bleed too.
This flag's on the Falcons, so they're gonna have to re-kick this. Is there what kind of strategies do you use, Tony, for betting
let's
soccer?
hear it.
Because Fat Guy and I have dabbled just a little bit in soccer markets, but like outside of like the major, like I've barely bet. I think I bet World Cup this year and got roasted.
I bet World Cup and Euro Cup every year, and just futures, and I've had very good success, but the variance is really high, and I've been pretty lucky. Yeah, and Zidane managed those teams, and like you need a guy like that to manage a team that's star-studded. And it's
oh man,
Atlanta. That one felt weird, and then it looked good, and wow, it just bent at the end.
It just drifted as it
like
came
illegal
down.
Formation. How do you have that too?
It's bad. Well, think about, like, it was 3rd and 1. Matt Ryan took that terrible sack.
Yeah.
Picked up some sort of minor injury, and like, I don't know how you end up with a 50-yard kick there.
It's just silly across the board, you know. Yeah, so I've actually heard of this. Like, it's still viable strategy. Guys that are really immersed in a sport that are able to be unbiased to a point, like we're all going to be biased, but less biased than the populace, are able to do almost mental calculations and be successful. Of course, like if you had a sophisticated computer model, you're going to probably be better off, but that doesn't mean you can't churn a profit. So I would have made the case that I could have pulled that off in the NFL 10 years ago, 11 years. I did. I did. So, but now, like, everything's I'm so pessimistic and numerical that it's hard to get me to get a bet down properly, especially when you're on this side of the counter and you get just floods of good bets. It's hard for me to want to do it. Right. I post one here and there on whatchamacallit,
in the picks video or
in the
on
picks
Discord?
on Discord. Yeah. Hey, I was right about Miami, eh?
What happened?
It's 3.5.
Oh,
Nailed
nice. It. Yeah, I think they announced that Flacco is going to start for the Jets.
Yes, they did.
So That's going to be interesting.
It made a very marginal shift.
They highlighted how Miami played zero blitz against Baltimore, essentially on half of their plays.
Yeah, it worked. It was awesome.
It did work. So I'd like to see what the Jets are going to do to combat that.
Well, they're
but
not going to do
also,
that against the Jets.
Probably not.
They can play base defense and crush the Jets.
Yeah, that's true. The live line for this game is 37.5.
Oh, what a sack! I bet you could win betting Serie A and Bundesliga. That makes a lot of sense to me. EPL is the hardest. Yeah. Everything I've read is EPL is by far the hardest. So that makes sense. Serie A and Bundesliga. There's some game match fixing in Serie A. I don't know if it still goes on, but I bet you could figure it out with the market. I have a tennis guy, and he explained to me, like, when the odds shift super big, like someone goes from a plus 300 to a minus 300, that means that there's cheating. Because how else could that happen? And he's right.
Yeah,
you pound the minus 300 for everything you can.
From 75% to 25%, like nothing is a 50% swing.
Within a couple hours, he said that's just because there's cheating, and that it tends to happen in women's tennis.
And then Tony, I'm surprised you're even able to watch that many games, like between 3 leagues. Like that seems like a lot.
Wow,
so good on you.
It's possible.
There's another Belichick story this week about screenplays. Nothing like groundbreaking, nothing that like stood out as like, oh yeah, but he essentially talked about, he said most of the key is on the running back, making it easy on the blockers.
That was a nice series by the Atlanta defense.
Yeah, for sure, Tony. That's really nice of you to offer that. It's
eventually we're going to be heading in those directions, so we have some pretty interesting things in the hopper.
The one thing is, like, I use Action Network for the betting percentages, and they don't carry any soccer stuff. They say they do, but they don't. If there's any betting market stuff that you find, I'd love to see it.
Line movements in soccer would be interesting too to track.
Yeah, that's true.
And the craze for crispy chicken sandwiches around here, holy.
I had I had one of the, like, A&W has the chubby chicken or whatever. It was delicious. It was really, really good. I was very surprised. Actually, I had it and I was very, very surprised. It was like a Buddy Burger version of it. Do you know what I'm talking about? What do you mean,
do I know? Do you take a look at me?
Well, I don't know. Like, I didn't even know they had it, and
Of course I know. It's all right.
I thought it was terrific.
It's better than Wendy's. McDonald's is last place. Forget it.
What's the best chicken sandwich locally?
You won't even like it, but the best, fast food?
Yeah.
I actually think the Big Mary is the best one.
Yeah, I went there. I thought it was trash, so. But who knows if I just had a bad one.
That's another thing. Consistency is actually a better trait for A&W.
Yeah. It's been a while since I went to that sandwich place close to your place.
Yeah.
That place is good.
The hours are so garbage, though. Like,
yeah, it's like, what,
11
to 4 or something like that.
I've shown up and they've never even been there. They were just closed, like, on a regular day, too. So, but that's a small business. You can do that. Yeah, but if you get the lineup, like, I'd like to know the positional importance of each player. You know what I mean? Like, how much a player is worth in EPL. Not EPL, like Serie A and something like that. Be very interesting.
And then there's obviously, like, differing skill levels of replacement level players. Like,
Exactly. Yeah.
because I was thinking the same thing. Like, pitching in baseball is so important. Quarterback in the NFL is so important. Hockey, the goalie can impact the line quite a bit. So I'm curious what it would be like in
Do you think that's
soccer.
an overreaction though? I think soccer, just playing it my whole life, I would imagine that center mid generally has got to be the,
The
if you have
most
a good
important.
center mid, I don't know how that wouldn't be the most important. Goalie should have the most minimal effect, I would imagine. Center back's got to be up there too. Obviously, a striker is out. It lowers your chances at goal, but you don't have to, you don't, I don't know. If you don't have like most forwards, I would imagine aren't, um,
Like, unless
they
it's
don't,
like the top end guys, it's
they don't, like, it's very hard to find a forward that can create their own chances. Do you know what I mean?
yeah. Well, that's it goes along to if you follow the line movements and you track them and you can
Yeah, you
combine it
could
with
easily
some
figure
sort of
all that
data
stuff
on all
out.
that. Yeah.
Like, I'd be really curious to see what win probability added, like Zidane was at his prime. He's the best player ever in
It's
my
got to
opinion.
be
But
it's got to be quite a bit.
yeah, just because he's not going to ever have like the production of like a Ronaldo or a Messi, but in terms of like
Impact on a
controlling a
game.
game, holy man, I've never seen anyone in a sport be as good at it as that him. That being said, another dominant defensive series, it looks like, by the Pats here.
The other thing that's
Quadre
interesting,
Olesen.
like Tony Meep just saying that the two best Premier League players are center mids, and
It's
like
probably Kevin De Bruyne, I would imagine.
if one of those guys is a healthy scratch too, like does it have even more of an impact on the team? Like, is the team kind of like throwing that game if a guy's not going to play, or I don't know. It's
Oh,
interesting to
Conte.
think about.
Yeah, De Bruyne for sure. I didn't think N'Golo Conte, but I don't follow it as much. Another sack. Come on.
Judon beating Caleb McGarry on the right side.
He's a first round pick. I think he's from Washington. Because they had 2 first round picks and they went O line, O line. Oh, Pitts.
So I saw something. Warner talked about something interesting, and he talked about when facing pressure, and that you want your hot read to be on the side where the pressure's coming from. So the like the offensive line should shift towards the side. Like essentially, he said like if he has 3 receivers on one side, he wants the offensive line to shift. Like let's say the 3 receivers on the right side, he wants the line to shift to the left because his eyes are going to be on the right side of the field, and if his eyes are on the right side of the field, he wants to see the pressure coming in his face rather than off the blind side. And that kind of happened there. Like that wasn't like a blitz or anything. Like he just beat him 1-on-1, so it blows that play up. But you know, maybe knowing where the best pass rusher is on that team is key to you know how you might want to line up and attack that play. But I found it very interesting. I thought it was pretty cool.
It is interesting. Is Jake Matthews playing right tackle?
I think that was Caleb McGarry at right tackle. Let me just double check their depth chart.
Yeah, Caleb. Oh yeah, he'd be playing right tackle. And Jake Matthews left.
Yeah.
So I got it mixed up for a second because my wires got crossed.
There's some draft capital on this Atlanta O-line. They also have Jalen Mayfield, a 3rd-round pick, playing left guard. Matt Hennessy, a 3rd-round pick from last year, playing center. And Chris Lindstrom, a 1st-round pick from 2019, along with Caleb McGarry. So, like...
both first rounds.
It's not exactly translating to, like, strong offensive line play, but...
De Bruyne is on Belgium, Mickey. You got it mixed up. It happens, though. That's another team that has underperformed a lot. They had such crazy odds to win the World Cup. It was like plus 280 in some places. Belgium.
I'm just gonna refill my glass. I'll be back.
64 teams, and you're plus 280. Get real, man. Oh no, that was Euro Cup. So 28 teams. I don't know, what is it? 12. 6. I think it was 28 the new ones. I don't know. I'm losing my mind. I thought the big Belgian defender was Toby Alderweireld or whatever. I thought he was on Tottenham, and then Barcelona. Oh, Vincent Company. Oh yeah, forgot about him. No, De Bruyne is he's Belgian. He played. I just looking at Belgium saying Chelsea had him. Oh, and then you let it go, eh? Oh, that's tough. That's tough. Three sacks, 5 knockdowns, and 16 dropbacks. No, definitely Belgium, Mickey. 100%. Yes, Kevin De Bruyne. Wow. How is Bolden still in the league? I guess he can play special teams and plays like that. Yeah, Mickey. You're having a Mandela effect here. Belgium. Belgian national team. Similar colors to Germany, let's be real. Same colors, even. Very efficient here, Mac Jones. 11 for 12 they're highlighting. Never got the hype around tequila. Yes, he absolutely is, Mickey. Seeing more tequila commercials, not just Patron, but other ones too. This is a Patron commercial. Oh, really? Like sportsbook review? Huh. That might be a thing. We've got some things in the works. It's still months away, but we have some things that we're working on that are getting interesting, at least in terms of expansion. So I like the NFL, but I'm just thinking bigger nowadays. So
It's really whatever the market dictates what people want.
yeah.
Okay, so Pat's got the ball.
Mac Jones 11 for 12.
It's he's keeping them on pace.
How is that? How is he open that much?
Just terrible coverage.
It's just making sure that the acronym was at the same, Tony. Fabian Morrow. Wasn't he a Raider? Fabian Morrow? Oh, that's the tight end. What? That's two that they've rushed like that, and he didn't see it coming.
That was the same guy that got beat so badly on that coverage. I was trying to look up who it was. Makes up for it there. 4th round pick from this year, Darren Hall.
You know, that's kind of a good matchup. Like if Trent Brown, his head is turned for just a second, you know what I mean? They rush a speed guy. He's not going to be able to make up that. He's not going to be able to make up that space.
I'm pretty sure that referee's the same person who was getting close personal with Urban Meyer.
One of those, eh? Brian Hoyer sighting, eh?
Yeah, there was uncertainty if Hoyer was going to be the backup with Stidham healthy.
I'll be right back if you don't mind manning the presses for a little while.
Mm-hmm. Well, despite the dominant first half from New England, like Atlanta's still very in this game. Not on the live line though. They're 9-1 to come back and win. The OU is 34.5, so the under's looking good right now. Um, I think it's a little bit of both, Tony. Like Mac Jones has actually played like he's been playing pretty well lately. Like some of these like coverages have not been good at all. But like he's making very quick reads. He's getting the ball out fast. There's things that he's doing that's just been very good, and it's just like the Patriots are strong defensively, so they don't need much. I don't know where Atlanta's defense sits on all the advanced defensive stats, but I think it's not very good. I think the foul, like I saw some team rating stuff, and New England was like in the like 8 range, and Atlanta's like on the flip side of that. They're like in the, you know, 27th range. So oh, I'd have no clue. To me, the smallest guy I can think of is Doug Flutie, and I don't even know how small Doug Flutie actually is. And I know Doug Flutie didn't play in the 60s, so. Doug Flutie's 5'10", 180. Was it Eddie LeBaron? The little general is in the Redskins Ring of Fame and made it to 4 Pro Bowls. The Redskins listed him at 5'9", but LeBaron has fessed up to being 5'7". The Cowboys claimed him in the 1960 expansion draft. That's some pretty cool old photos here, Eddie LeBaron. I'll leave that as a. I won't tell the fat guy. We'll see what he gets when he comes back. My guess is he's not going to know. But I don't know. He's an encyclopedia of weird knowledge, so he might. On the flip side, who's the tallest quarterback of all time? Is it Brock Osweiler? Dan McGuire was 6'8", 16th pick in 1991. Dan McGuire was Mark McGuire's brother. Oh my goodness, I didn't know that. I won't. I'll let him see if he can get it. Herbert 6'6". Derek Anderson was 6'6". Flacco's 6'6". Nick Foles is 6'6". Josh Freeman was 6'6". It says Mike Glennon's 6'7". I would never thought that. Paxton Lynch was 6'7". Osweiler 6'7". Dan McGuire was the tallest at 6'8". Yeah, I didn't know. I didn't watch the NFL back then, so I didn't know Dan McGuire. Drafted in '91, so. A little peek behind the curtain.
Yeah. Fat guy, for when he came out, who's the smallest QB to ever play in the NFL? He played for the Cowboys and the Redskins in the 60s. Huh. Cowboys and the Redskins. Yeah, I don't know. I can't I can name Cowboys quarterbacks from the 60s, but not like Roger Staubach's not that small. I don't know.
I managed to get the second. The second shortest is easy.
Second short, like Doug Flutie.
Yeah.
Fran Tarkington was small too.
He was 6 feet.
He was 6 feet? Really?
Yep. The smallest quarterback in NFL history was 5'7". He was listed at 5'9", but he later said he was 5'7".
That's awesome.
That's like how I'm like 5'5" or 5'4", and I got listed in my high school basketball tournament at 6 feet in the magazine. I thought that was hilarious.
Yeah.
Like giving us NBA heights in high school.
I forget what I had to put my height down for, and I once put it down at 160 centimeters.
What's that?
I don't know. I think 5'5". It might be even shorter. I think it's like 5'1", 5'2".
5'2". Well, that's like what Sam Hyde, didn't he do that on his?
Yeah, he did on his IMDb.
Yeah.
Someone changed it though recently.
Blasphemy.
In a video recently though, he said They're like, "What are you like 5'7"?" He goes, "I like to think 5'8", 5'8" on a good day,
And how tall is he actually? Like 6'5"?
6'5". Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'm sure that pissed off a few scouts, Tony. I'm like, I don't know, 5'4", 5'5", somewhere in there. That's how I got the moniker Big Rye.
Yeah. You come up to my nipple. Believe me, I know.
JJ Barea and Luka Doncic have a pregame ritual where JJ Barea tries to high five Luka Doncic, but Luka Doncic just like jumps, so JJ Barea can't reach it.
How tall is JJ Barea?
He's probably like 5'11".
Doncic 6'10" or 7 feet?
Doncic is probably like 6'10",
Yeah.
maybe 6'9". Yeah, it says it says JJ Barrera is listed at 6 feet, but he's 5'10".
Yeah. They always do that. Wrestling heights.
And then
My friend was on,
Doncic.
like I said, my friend was sat next to Charles Barkley on a plane. And I've got 3 inches on my friend. He was an inch taller than Charles Barkley. Charles Barkley's like 6'3", 6'2". He's probably shrunk a bit.
Doncic is 6'7", so. Falcons start with the ball.
Dude, ferocious defense right now by the Pats.
I've heard a lot
46. I'll
of
start.
talk about identity lately in sports. Like teams don't have identity, and I thought it's kind of silly.
I think it's a made up thing.
I'm actually like I'm. You're making fun of it. I'm questioning it, but I actually don't know like what the Falcons.
What difference does it make? What adjective that you think they belong will box you?
It
Then you can
probably
just
doesn't
go all
matter at
around. You know? Why do you have to be imbalanced in some area?
Yeah.
They're all around bad for the most part, the Falcons.
Yikes. It looked like
I don't know if that's worthy of a flag.
I think the contact was just a little bit early.
What's with all these guys wearing bracelets? I can't stand stuff like that. It's so silly.
I listened to Lieb talk about his beef with Michael Crabtree, and it was very uninteresting.
Yes. Good luck, Mickey. I think that was a questionable flag, to be honest, despite me being on Atlanta on we'll call it a counter bet. Over the counter bet. Another false start. Mike Davis is averaging less than 2 yards a carry, I think.
Well, with how that play developed, if that's the carries he's getting, like, I don't even know how you're supposed to make 2 yards out of that.
Yeah. Yeah.
They even like lined up every single outside of the tight end on the other side of the field. So
Jeez. Judon had that just peg.
I don't have the exact like numbers of where Kyle Pitts lines up exactly, but like I don't know how he's not considered a receiver.
That might screw him over at some point.
Yeah, with the designation stuff and franchise tags and that. Well, didn't Jimmy Graham go through that and they came to some sort of compromise, right?
Yeah, they did. Like a prorated thing. I would go for this. I got to be honest.
Yeah, I'll pull up the fourth down bot and see what it says. Nice return.
How is he
there
still
from
on his
Gunner.
field, on his feet?
How much do you think Mac Jones is just playing well and the Patriots offense is playing well? How much of it do you think that the Falcons defense is just not very good?
That's a good question. I don't know. Like I I'm supposed to give a candid opinion. I can't come up with it. You know what I mean? Like, so funny.
Well, like, where are you leaning? Like, do you think Mac Jones is good?
Yeah, I
do you
think he's
the
fine.
Falcons are bad?
You know? Yeah, I think the Falcons are bad. I definitely think that. I think this team can still win games though. Like they're below average, right? Like bad. It's hard for me to say a team's actually bad. You know, like the Lions are bad, but like there's intent there. If that makes any sense.
Mm-hmm. Do you think the Falcons are better than the Lions?
Do I think the Falcons are better than the Lions? Yes, absolutely.
Jimmy told him, if I'm a tight end, I'm not playing in the slot anymore. That would be interesting.
That's interesting. You can't really blame the guy.
See if the fourth down bot's updated yet. Well, fat guy, you're spot on again.
They should have gone for it.
Yeah.
Just nailing it. I guess they should just hire me to be on the sideline, eh?
Well, it really feels like, at least according to this bot, it's, you know, whatever stats this bot has and goes over, it pretty much just says go for it. Like, unless it's, you know, completely a clear spot to kick the ball, like yeah, Falcons are 4-5. I remember they beat the Saints earlier this year. Let's see who else they beat. The Falcons have victories over the Giants, the Jets, the Dolphins, and the Saints. That's a nice money line, Mickey.
That's a very good one to hit.
I was just going to ask if that's in Kill Harry. Looks like it's a hold and it's going to be coming back.
I like how like the one time you get the ball and that's what happens.
Yeah.
How clear is that hold?
I think it's funny that a defensive player can essentially just turn their neck and like turn their body and it gets called a hold.
Yeah.
I like how the defensive player was running off the field and the coach is still telling him.
Yeah.
Like
as if we don't know.
I want to look at that replay. It's one of the rare misses from Jones tonight. No replay
Lost
for
a
us.
shootout in hockey.
Oh, what game was it?
Flyers, Lightning.
And I'm guessing you had the Flyers.
Yeah. Wow. The book did. Let's call it that.
It's tough.
But the game could end a billion different ways. Just happened to be dramatic.
Yeah. I always find it tough if you have the underdog and you end up losing in the shootout because it's like.
Yeah, but like it's just such a myopic way of looking. Like, or what's the antonym? Like, it's like a pessimistic way of like enhancing like a situation, right? Like people do that with losing a lot in sports, and I can't stand it anymore. Like,
yeah,
you have to take responsibility. Like you made a wager. Like if you want to make a dramatic ending to it any which way and call it a bad beat, you can do that, right? You know, because what if you didn't watch the game? You wouldn't know, right? If I didn't know, who knows?
I don't think it's a bad beat. I think it's more that if you had to bet before the shootout, you'd probably get better odds than you would have betting pregame. So it's just the expected value there is good, and then it's just an unfortunate way to lose.
No, but you're using one result to justify expected value. That's not good either. You know what I mean? Like the result makes very little difference on it, right? Like I have a string on one of my spreadsheets. I lost 8 football bets in a row, and I beat the closing line by 10% or better every game. Am I upset about it? No, I didn't care because you don't go on the result. I won all of those bets. Europic. Yeah, I saved that conference, Mickey, if you want it, because I'm pretty sure you're the only one interested. So I do have it on my computer. They seemed, I don't know. The guy obviously he was an actuary. Like obviously he has serious chops in the math world, but there's always that disconnect. You know what I mean? And I feel like it's still there. And he seemed very like pro Excel and not exactly embracive of R and Python. Yeah, okay. I'll find a way to get it to you. You can't send it over Discord. They don't let you send really big files. So We'll come up with something.
It's a
Maybe
video
I'll upload.
recording.
Yeah, maybe I'll upload
You'll
it
have
to
to
BR,
you'll upload it to BRFG, but you
and I'll
have to
give
make
him a
it
private
private,
link.
and
Yeah,
then you would send it to his email.
yeah. I can just PM him the link.
Oh, well, you can unlist a video, and then anyone with the link can watch it, or you can make it private, and you have to have an email connected to it. So those are
Oh,
your
really?
two options.
Maybe I'll do the private email. That's probably better.
Private's safer because then that way it can't be shared and watched by.
Yeah, I don't want it to be shared because it's not really my property.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he didn't seem embracive of the other languages. I'm starting to get a very small understanding of Python, which is kind of nice. Python's pretty incredible. Like, I guess they all are if you know how to use them. But like, I have a pretty good understanding of the limitations of Excel. So does Big Rye. I mean, Big Rye's more of an expert than I am. I know a few weird tricks more than him, like or different from him. But as far as like the general thing, he's much more proficient than I am. But we both know that there's strong limitations with Excel.
It's interesting because I don't know how much stuff like Python and R gets taught, like just in general in schools anymore.
It does now.
Because growing up, like we would use Excel in school, but it wasn't like a huge focus. So I'm curious how things are evolving as far as education goes. Because we didn't learn Python for sure. We didn't learn.
I wasn't around.
It wasn't something we had.
One of the kids I play poker with, he's taking courses in university in both.
Oh.
He prefers Python. He wasn't successful at either. How many 3 and outs are we gonna have here?
Josh
he only has 17
attempts. Looks bad.
He does look bad, Josh. I'll give you that. He's not even set either. Like,
well, he's under pressure on that throw. Interior pressure. The guy beats a double team right up the center. I don't know. Like, I know what we want Matt Ryan to do, but just not realistic at this point of his career right now.
hey, thank you, Gabe. Right on. Go Lions. I'd like them to get a win. This might be a bad punt. Oh, and that ended up working out.
The live OU's down to 30.5. Mickey, what do you need the final score to be to hit your second half over? You said it was 21.5 plus 13, so 34.5 is the key number. The go for it versus punt is break even on that last one. It's pretty telling, though, that you can be 4th and 8 on your own 13, and it's the same win probability to go for it than punt. But if he was to go for it there and not get it, he would be absolutely lambasted by the media. Which is a funny, like...
Well, it shows you the gap. Like, where's their edge? You know what it does, though? It hurts the NFL in a way because games are less... they can be over earlier. Do you know what I mean? Because if you don't get that, like, the game's pretty much over.
Well,
not that
if
it
you hold them
like,
to 3, it's still a 2-score game. Like, it's a 2-score game either way. I know they're much more likely to score a touchdown 18 yards out.
Yes, they are.
Or 13 yards out. But even if they were to get it, like their win percentage is only 5%. That's the other thing too, is like comparing it to what the actual odds are.
What are some unwritten rules? Well, I guess that's a good segue into that is um you be more conservative on fourth down. I don't know why it should be a rule, but it's certainly something that a lot of coaches follow, especially these two. Ramondre looking good today.
Oh, you never got an answer, but the shortest quarterback of all time is Eddie LeBaron, 5'7". He was known as the little general.
Eddie LeBaron, what a name, eh?
Yeah.
They named a car after him.
Oh, you betcha. Quite the hair on the Pats fullback.
Do you?
Jacob Johnson.
Jacob? Oh, Jakob. That's who they're talking about.
Oh, okay.
I thought it was Rudy Johnson. He's German.
I remember the NFL had that they were added one international player, like extra roster spot.
Yeah. What a... Do you
What a
see that
play
blitz?
by
I can't
Mac
believe
Jones.
Mac Jones got that off. These blitzes from the Falcons have been blinding. Gabe, I kind of said it in the video. You wanted to get Miami at open, and then I think if you have Miami minus 2.5, wow, what a clean blitz is right, Josh Allen. If you had Miami minus 2.5, I think you buy back on the Jets plus 3.5, and you get that middle of a 3. Like, you go for it. So I called it in the video. So if I had to bet right now, I would take the Jets plus 3.5, but I'd wait till close. You know what I mean? I don't think it's going to back down to 3. It's not like the public's going to be clamoring to bet on Joe Flacco. I can't believe Mac. That's the play of the game for me. Mac Jones getting that off with like that serious pressure.
Well, he knew where his hot read was, and he saw the pressure coming, and he was able to make the throw accurately and on time. But that goes to his strengths, right? Of being able to read what's happening and have good understanding to know where he needs to go with the ball.
It's just tough to like.
It's tough to execute.
There's a guy seriously barreling on you. Like, it's not a DN. Like, it's a guy with sprinter speed. Like,
he was
really
at full
coming
speed
after
by the time
you.
he hit the line of scrimmage too.
Exactly. Like, it's, you know what I mean? You're taking a slap shot from 10 feet away, right? Like, it's really coming at you.
Appreciate it, Gabe. That's really nice of you.
Thank you, Gabe.
Live line Pats are minus 17.
That seems about right. 3rd and 5. This play will affect that dramatically, I would think. Wow,
Really
what
nice
a catch
by Hunter Henry.
That's a nice ball.
Safety Eric Harris was on the coverage there.
Ooh, Josh Allen tipping us off. Nice, nice interception. He's got some speed here.
Well, that put some life into Atlanta's lifeless game so far.
It has been lifeless. We've been hard to share some enthusiasm about this game.
Unlike Teddy Bridgewater, Mac Jones making the tackle.
Yeah, it's more like Jakob Johnson, but Johnson. His name was Rudy for some reason.
Maybe it's a nickname from the movie. Yeah, this game finished with 56,000 bets.
Hey, just 1,000 more from when you kind of closed off on it.
Yeah.
Oh, it's Zaps. How's it going?
What's going on, Zaps?
Cringe every time Joe Buck pronounces AJ's last name.
Which AJ? AJ Terrell? Terrell? What does he say? Because I don't have the sound on.
I think he says Terrell.
And my guess would be Terrell, but I'm usually wrong with this kind of stuff.
So then should your strategy to go against what you think? Fade yourself?
Yeah, but if I fade myself, I somehow like fade even worse.
Oh, so you're just,
like it's not like yeah, it's not like between two options.
Right. So in theory, you should put them all in your head, have a random number generator, and then maybe you could approach something that's respectable.
Yeah.
That's a big thing in online poker, believe it or not.
What?
Random number generators.
Oh, it's make decisions for you?
Yeah.
I'm going to start doing that with my betting. Yeah, if he's their best player on defense, it's pretty bad to be getting that name wrong.
Oh, Joe Buck's doing it too. Or sorry, Troy Aikman.
They always get the phonetic, like the phonetic chart of every name.
Yeah.
I think you might actually be able to find them on the internet too.
Thoughts on Deebo Samuel? Absolute beast. Played one of the best games I've seen by a receiver, by a skill position player on Monday night. Hey, we don't know yet, Mickey. The game ain't over. A rare first down for Zacchaeus and the Atlanta Falcons.
Well, this is something I mentioned when you went away, Fat Guy, but during halftime, it's like it's been a 13-0 like this game's been dominated by the Patriots, but like it's a 2-score game. Like this game could turn very, very quickly.
Yeah. They only have 87 yards of offense. Oh, now I remember Rudy Johnson was a running back for the Bengals about 10 years ago. Hey, you still could be onto an angle, Mickey. You never know. Kyle Pitts is moving very gingerly.
That's the other thing too about like OUs for these kind of games. It's like it can open up very, very quickly. Like especially at the end of games with scoring points in the NFL now, it feels like I don't have any numbers on this, but it feels like there can be a propensity to score more points at the end of games.
Yeah, fourth quarter overs might be a thing. Feels like a lot of the drives seem dead in the water, and there's a lot of calls and like weird things happening lately. Not a conspiracy theorist about it, but it has been a little bit strange, I feel, this year, at least anecdotally for me. Is Cordell Patterson hurt?
I believe so because I haven't seen him tonight.
He was like the most prominent figure.
Yeah, someone in chat mentioned that he's out, and obviously Calvin Ridley. But this is the thing with the NFL, right? Like, there you get these injuries, and it's next guy up. Like Tajay Sharp's, like he's a veteran player.
He's a preseason veteran.
And Zacharias has been on this team for a few years at least.
Zacchaeus, yeah, like every preseason for, just, I guess the opportunity to crack the roster presented itself, right?
Yep.
Thoughts on Jim Brown? He's my favorite. I collect his memorabilia. This is the most obvious fourth down here. Good. I'm glad it's not a decision.
It's a long yard too.
It is because
Oh no.
his highlights are the best, Gabe. It's not even close. Yeah, I got a painting right here of him. Obviously, I can't show it necessarily, but it's right there. Got a helmet up there.
You should take a picture of a few of your memorabilia items and post it in the Discord.
Yeah, maybe I'll do that.
Kirk Cousins is the #1 graded quarterback per PFF, said Zaps.
I mean, yeah, sure. And then followed with an endorsement. Vikings plus 2.5.
I know Fat Guy always likes to bring up because PFF did like a betting thing one year.
Oh yeah, Green Book. Aptly named Green Book instead of Red Book. Or Kirk Cousins is good, absolutely.
Gabe, we have a membership. It's $5 a month, and it includes some betting market information as well as a Discord where we all can chat.
Yeah, a lot of stuff gets shared in the Discord. It's very active. I think I'd sell all my Jim Brown stuff right now if someone gave me like not even that much, like $9,000. I have too much stuff and I know I'm not gonna be able to keep it, so maybe $7,000. $7,000 so I'm like, I don't know.
Sounds like a buyer's market.
I don't know if it is right now. I'm trying to think. Do I even have that much worth of stuff? Because I think the painting's worth, I looked it up, it's like $1,200. $1,000, something like that. I think the helmet's $550. Yeah, I don't even think it's that much. My photo, it was the most expensive one at the Sound of Music. I bought it in Vegas. That's a great store. The Sound of Music, it's a sports memorabilia store in the Mirage. And Yeah, I bought it there. It was the most expensive signed photo. It was only 225 American, but I think it's worth 500 right now. But well, who knows? So it's worth what someone will buy it, pay for it, basically.
The Vikings are 4-5 with a positive point differential of 10. The Vikings are such a like. Yeah, I feel like the Vikings to me are like one of the hardest teams to handicap
Yeah,
because like it's a pretty good team. It's a good roster. Like they've got good players. The coaching's all right, and I always see Zimmer get mentioned as like one of the first coaches to be fired. Like it feels like he's always in like the top 5 for odds, and I don't know if that's just because of longevity or if it's like longevity plus expectations. Like they're a hard team to just bet against. They're a hard team to bet for too.
I found my photo on a website. They're selling it for 741.95. I don't know why. His signature is worth about $400. It looks like.
That's a cool stat that the Vikings are the only team that have led by double digits in every game this season.
Very interesting.
I find that interesting.
Were they against the
that's,
Browns? I don't remember them being ahead by that much.
Well, it's interesting. They've got 5 losses. Like, how are you up by double digits and lose 5 of those games? That's the thing, right? That's what makes them so hard. That I guess in my head is like you have double digit leads in every single game, and then
as a coach, then shouldn't you take that as take more chances across the board? Because you could really step on the throat then.
Maybe that's what it is. I've noticed that like a lot more teams are being more aggressive when they're up, but I don't know if that's just certain teams. Like the really good offensive teams, it feels like that's kind of the way to go. I know we make fun of the Bills for their offensive strategy, but I don't know. It's so game dependent. Depends on who you're playing. Depends how much time's left. Depends on timeouts. Like it's a very complex problem.
Yeah, complex to a degree, but like I'd rather be on like if I'm gonna guess wrong, I'd rather guess wrong aggressively. It's in poker, that's a very common thing where like at tournaments aside, in cash game poker, like if you're gonna be wrong, you want to be wrong with an aggressive action rather than defensive.
Do you think Zimmer's not aggressive in decision making? Like I can't think of how he is on 4th down decisions off the top of my head.
As far as when they're up, no, I don't think they're like obviously we like a pound the rock type offense, which they are able to do, but like you do want to throw like mix in a couple deep passes or passing threats to make sure that your run game can be sustainable, right? And I don't think they've done that necessarily when they've been up.
Just to add on that point, Zab said they play so conservative when they have the lead, but their offense is so good when they're trailing. I want to go back to what Gabe said. He said, why were running backs like Brown, Sanders, Smith so successful, but you don't see prominent running backs in the modern era?
I mean, they're there, but I don't think like okay, first of all, the gap in like Jim Brown was and today's NFL athlete, like in 1954 to 55 to 64, like it's not really fair, right? And the linemen were only 250 pounds in his day, and he was around 230. Like, so it's just the gap in physical ability can't be realized now. Like, for every Saquon Barkley, who's trying to think of a better like all-around athlete at running back, I'm just going to use him as an example. Mm-hmm. Not that he's had success. For every Saquon Barkley, there's one guy on the defensive line that's just as athletic, right? Like, and offenses tend to feature passing game more. Passing game analytically seems to be the way to go. It's not how I would do it, but That's where
compared,
offenses are trending.
well, it's just fact. Like compared to then to now, like it's just passing games have become much more prominent in
And
NFL offenses.
the rules favor passing more than anything else.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, you could clothesline a guy in the 50s realistically.
And like you still do see pretty prominent running backs put up really big numbers. It's just not as common. And you also said, like you mentioned, 3 guys in the last 50 years. Like it's a very select.
Yeah, those are pretty good. Emmitt Smith's not really as talented probably as those guys, but Emmitt Smith had longevity, right? Like, and that's just, there's something to be said for that. I'm sure Jim Brown could have had longevity, but I don't think he liked the business of football if you read his book. So, like, I really like Out of Bounds changed my life, that book. I really liked it. So just the part about how competitive and angry he was on the field, right? But football, the business of football is another thing that Barry Sanders probably ended his career over too. Both guys played only 9 years. Sanders, this is going to sound really bad, but from a called a roster selection standpoint, Sanders would be very far back on my list of running backs, just because you're going to do I want a guy who's more like a consistent 3 to 4, like, you know, 4 to 5
You want
yards.
north-south runners more
I want
so
north-south
than
consistent
explosive
runners.
runner.
Yeah, whereas like Sanders is more of a home run or bust. Like, he had a lot of negative runs, whereas Jim Brown's my favorite because it's a guy that's pure, like the best ever at north-south and physical running. So, and blocking, he could throw too. Like, he was just a football player. He's probably the best ever at the sport of football, right?
And like you said, LT.
LT did it all.
LT was like my favorite player when I started watching football. But like you can't understate like what Derrick Henry has done over the last few seasons. Like,
yeah, it's been great.
It's been incredible. Huge 2nd and 17 conversion year.
LT though, like, even when you watch his highlights, you always think like it'll be for like 1 year, and you think like it's a career. That's happened to me a few times.
I remember I shared that one with you.
I never really liked him because he was such a. I wasn't that into football when he was at his peak with the Chargers, but I was when he was with the Jets. And I didn't really like him because of how, like, I don't like super popular superstar type guys. And then with the Jets, he took a reserved role, but he played his ass off as like he did the chant before the game with the team, and he blocked. Do you know what I mean? I think he even played a bit of special teams. Like, he knew his best years were behind him, but he still contributed 100%. At least it felt like, right? I'm not on the field. And he was still good, right? So like that, like those years with the Jets really impressed me, because it takes a lot for some of these guys to realize that they're not the player that they once were, but they still contribute meaningfully. Like, there's lots of examples of that right now. Odell Beckham is the opposite of that. He's finding a way to still think that he was, you know, as effective as he was in his 2nd and 3rd year, which might have been luck anyways, to be honest, right? So a lot of those whiny baby guys, or superstar guys, are kind of whiny babies, whereas LT showed up and put his work boots on, you know, and did the dirty work when he's in the twilight of his career. That's some of my favorite type of. You just want guys on your team. Frank Gore's another guy like that.
Yeah. Well, Tomlinson used to score touchdowns and just give the ball to the ref. Like,
yeah, that's how you do it.
That was his style, right? Like, he was there to win games. And we have.
Where did that go?
A Devin McCourty interception.
Yeah, but Tebow is not a. Oh, there, Matt Ryan picked Cash. Tebow's not a tight end, right? Like, and those guys, you can't say like leadership isn't worth that much, and you'd be hard pressed to get a bunch of NFL guys to respect him in the locker room, despite being one of the greatest college players ever. Oddly enough,
Tebow at tight end for the Jags was like a complete joke. Like he really did take up a roster spot that should have been going to someone else. Like the guy's just so far. Like Josh Gordon's out of the league for like a year, and he looks like not even close to being the same. Like, how long has it been since Tebow played?
I don't know. And he wasn't like he was a below average quarterback. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like he was. He didn't want to play tight end back then, so I don't know what changes now. Less athletic now and wanting
Probably
to play.
his relationship with the coach. Yeah, I don't I think it's overstated in that case though, Gabe. Like there's a difference. Like
I don't know how. Like, you bring him in as a motivational speaker. Then, like, he doesn't need to be. He could come in and be a assistant to the head coach or whatever. Like, there's not a roster spot, not a tight end. Like, it's. I know there was memes about like his play too and how he did, but like, it was pretty obvious that's how it was going to turn out. You have to think like Terrell Pryor is another example of like like a way better athlete than Tebow was all around, and went to receiver and is still like he's out of the league now.
he did. We have to give him some credit though. His first season at receiver, the guy posted 1,000-yard season. Like
It was incredible, but like
that's pretty good.
there's
man.
a difference between him and Tebow as far as athletes. Like Terrell Pryor is a whole nother level.
He's the best athlete I think I've witnessed with my two eyes. Like I don't know. I haven't seen to this day anything like it. Cuz he's like not a small guy, man. And he's just like blinding speed and like just ran with purpose too. I don't know. I just felt like, and that was another thing too. When the Browns lost all those games with him, they could have like, how do I put this? They could have like I always think it was funny that
touchdown run.
I always think it's funny that like Hugh Jackson talks about like trying to win games. If you wanted to win games when you had Terrell Pryor as a receiver, you should have played him at quarterback. Okay, if you wanted to win games, he was your best chance. Yeah, he was going to make a bunch of like bonehead errors. That's 100%. But are there going to be games where you can't stop him? Yeah. He's going to have days where he rushes for 150 and throws for 150. It's going to be too hard to stop. Yeah, he has the longest run ever by a quarterback. And it just looks like he's gliding by those guys. That was the first play of that game, I think.
So that looked like an option route for Pitts. I don't know if this is what they just talked about, but Ryan made a read on how the coverage was, and Pitts stopped his route because the coverage was on his like back left side. So Matt Ryan threw it top right, if that makes sense, and yeah, it's an easy call. Oh my.
Ramondre.
That was one of the most incredible runs of the season. There's a flag on the play. This might be coming back. It is. That's a shame.
That is a shame. I knew the ref had the second half under.
Yeah. I love that play
Oh,
from Mac Jones. It's so nice to see, like, especially young quarterbacks step up in the pocket. We'll talk about an in-game plug here. Hurts has played well. Doc D saying nobody's going to want to play these Pats in January. The Patriots are like a tough team to play, but they're still going to have a really tough time against, like, there's a gap between them and the top teams, and that's the problem. Like, think they've played so well this game. They've had almost everything like go their way, and they're only up 13 points. Like, if they played this same game against the Bills, like, it's just going to be tough for them to win. I'm not saying they can't do it. It's just the Patriots are just limited right now.
Yeah, but the one thing that there is hope for, if like this running game could be difficult to deal with, and if they had like a sellout run type offense, I could see him having more success against some of the bigger players in the league right now.
Well, they put up a ton of points against the Browns. I just think it's going to be tough for them to match points against, like, if a team can expose them.
That's why they
defense.
can't. They have to just run the ball and score long drives. Like,
yeah. What's the on a neutral field, right? Or let's put this game in New England. What's New England against Buffalo? What's the line for the whole chat and Fat Guy?
I'm gonna go Buffalo. What I think it'll be is Buffalo -7. What I think it should be is Buffalo -6.5.
That's way higher than what I thought. I thought Bills -3.5 in New England.
No.
So we're way off here. It's very, very rare we have this much of a discrepancy.
Buffalo's 5-1 right now to win the Super Bowl.
Yeah, just.
Yeah, Gabe, I agree. I think it'll be 7, but I think it should be 6.5. Think about it. It's the same line that the Bucks were on the road in New England.
And that's a pretty good compare. That's pretty comparable.
Yeah, I'm trying to find a lateral, right? Man, these sacks are crazy. In Foxborough.
I said in Foxborough just to be as generous as possible to. Looks like we're going to get a long field goal attempt here from Folk. 53 yards. And it's good.
Wow.
Zabs has it Buffalo -4. Like, it's a tough one, right?
No, you have to like 4-0 in NHL.
Nice,
wow,
Mickey.
Man. I think 6.5 or 7, just because it's a market. It's not what I would put it at. I would put it at 6.5, like I said, or 6. But I think the market would have it at 7, 6.5 at the lowest.
I think I could see it going anywhere from 3 to 7.5, depending on how the teams look at the time too. Like right now, the Patriots have played well. The Bills have been like okay, like it's still very very good, but like I don't think people are looking at the Bills right now as like the
They're the
major
highest
favorite.
rated team by the
Yeah,
public.
but it's still like I still don't think like the Bills are looked at as like a step above everyone else. I
Yeah, because they haven't done it. Sure, I guess they have the highest odds, Super Bowl odds. I don't know what other metric is better than that, right?
yeah.
That's a good indicator of like which team is square, right?
Why did you end up getting a timeout on 888? If you don't mind me asking.
He chose something you usually choose.
Oh, okay. Wasn't Buffalo minus 3.5 at home versus Cam Newton last year? Yeah, maybe. But I feel like this year versus last year is still Buffalo's taken a step further this
Yeah,
year. The more I think about it, I think Buffalo 6 is probably the right. It's probably the right line.
I think it's too many points, but it's not what I think. It's what I think the market thinks, and
Yeah.
that's what I think they're.
Because even like 3.5 to 5.5 isn't much of a gap. So it's like, is it 3.5? Is it 5.5? Is it 6? Is it 3? Oh, that's nothing wrong with taking a break. We can't get that camera angle where he got bopped. When you got the camera on your eye, like that ball must come in with some velocity. Mickey, what would you put the line if Buffalo played New England in New England? Nice play by Matt Ryan. This is still a 2-score game with 6 minutes left. Tony has it, I'm guessing Bills minus 7.
Yep.
I do feel like we're getting more a wider range of answers too.
Yeah, that's always interesting. A lot of guys most of us would be betting on New England, so.
Oh my. I want to see a replay of this.
Yeah.
Oh, and good. Good job by the referee. That's another interception for J.C. Jackson. What is that? No. I believe that's his 6th of the year.
That's not bad. He's an underrated player. Buffalo minus 2.5 going real low, Mickey. Interesting. Usually I'm not this far apart from you guys, but
So we've had anywhere from 7 to 2.5.
I don't remember a chat where it's that different.
I think 6, 5.5 is like the safe spot for that game. But it also, like, the Pats have played really well lately, and the Bills have played well all season, but they had that Jacksonville loss.
Yeah, the black eye, they do have one of those.
I think 5.5 would be the spot where I like wouldn't know what to do. I think even at 5.5, I'd probably end up taking the Pats. At 2.5, I'd probably take the Bills, but like if it's 2.5 and a lot of people are on the Bills, then it makes me think it's a fishy line, and I'd probably do Pat's money line.
Yeah, that's fair, actually. I'd be very solidly on the Bills at 2.5.
Yeah.
But I think what you said encompasses a lot. Because I seem to forget some of the old school things that I even taught you. You know what I mean? Like, if it looks too good to be true, it probably is. So, just because there's incomplete information. So,
well, at the same time, if it opened up Bills minus 7.5, it'd be really hard for me not to take the Pats plus 7.5. But at the same time, I'd be like, what do they know that we don't know that's going on?
Which is they always know more than we do. That's the...
What sport is that? Daniel Evans over Cameron Norrie.
That's tennis. The most money I've won in a sports bet in the last 10 years was a Cameron Norrie bet this summer.
What was your original line for the Bills game?
6.5. 6.5, 7, like in there. Yeah, I had you'll like this, Gabe. I had Cameron Norrie plus 38.50 against Andrei Rublev.
Did you say plus 38.50?
Yeah, for 36.50. 36.50.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, and it was for a few bucks too. So the guy had bet he was betting like pretty big, and he won 4 bets in a row with minus 250 to minus 350s, and he was betting like a lot to win, just a little bit. And so, but I was down considerable money. Yeah. And then it was 36.50 against because I got the bookmaker price, Gabe. So I got plus 36.50 on that, and this guy went biggest on this one, and it just sewered him. It was like this guy lost like 11 units on this game, 11.5. So it's one of the biggest wins I've ever had on anything. So it was a lot. So I wiped out like some pretty big losses, and I went up. And I watched that game too, and Andrei Rublev was like busting his racket and stuff. It was awesome. Yeah, he was. Rublev was ranked third in the world, I think, at this time, behind Djokovic and Medvedev. I gained an affinity for tennis, Gabe. Just I had a customer that I did business with, and he bet really big on tennis. He bet like really big on tennis. So enough so that I even considered like outsourcing some of the action because it was that big. So I ended up doing really well in the end, but and I collected all the money, so it's all good. But I cut the guy off because I think I put him in a bit of a hole. That tennis can change on a dime. Someone gets a couple break sets, or sorry, break points, and like, there you go. Like the tables have turned. Unless it's Djokovic, like you're still gonna be the dog.
4:20 left in this game. Atlanta only has one time left, so New England can really put this game on ice by running the ball.
I think tennis is the most exciting, to be honest, Gabe. It's the most emotional I've found, though. How do you like the new update, Big Rye,
What update?
to Google Sheets? Sorry.
I haven't worked enough in it to really say
Be
either
able to
way.
give it an assessment.
Yeah, I haven't run into any issues, which is good. You want those things to be like as seamless as possible. Like all I've really noticed is, maybe some font change type stuff in their menu, but the less you notice, the better. This is a big win for the BRFG pick contest. 32 out of the 41 people who entered in picks took the Pats. But the line was also at 4, so it makes sense for most people to be on the Patriots. Is it the off season for tennis at the moment?
Yes.
Well, if they get this ball, if they get the clock down to 2:40 before this next step and they get a first down, it's going to be game over.
I think this is the last major. I think is the one right now. I don't really know a lot about it. think it's the last major for the year. I think is happening right now.
First down here, and this game's done. Oh, they use their first of 3 timeouts. That'd be a question for Fat Guy. Gabe's asking, can you do Grand Slam streams?
Oh, you know what's funny? I have a lot of them recorded, the live odds from Bet365. I think watching the odds is thrilling. If I could only get something to sync up to the odds, that would be great, because the odds are always 10 seconds ahead.
Looked like he was just short. This will get us to the 2-minute warning.
This has been a pretty weak Thursday night game for an entertainment. Like we like to do the joke about the 5-star, but like getting tougher for me these days.
Well, this is just the Falcons came out and laid a dud tonight. That's really what happened.
They didn't even play that bad on defense, to be honest.
They didn't, but at the same time, like they didn't play that well. Like they were able to fool the Pats on some of these blitzes, and that really kind of affected a lot of those third downs.
That might be difficult for Mac Jones going forward, right?
Well, he's still a rookie quarterback. Like it's
but
it's not going to be perfect. They're deciding to kick a field goal here, which is it's probably the right choice, but
I don't think it is.
There's a chance he can miss. He doesn't, though. That it makes it a 3-score game. It's
over. Yeah, folks, my fantasy kicker in one of my leagues too. But he put up 16 today? Okay.
Yeah, he had that 50-yarder earlier. Or like 54. No, 53 is what it was.
Kerncraft 3000. Is it or is it 2,000?
Ironically,
It's 400.
trying to see what the fourth down bot says about kicking that field goal, but it hasn't been updated yet.
Jason Hansen's dead?
Was he an ex-kicker?
Yeah, for the Lions. Okay, you're joking? Okay. I was
Yeah,
like, oh, man.
It says he's still alive. Who's in at quarterback for Atlanta? Oh, it's Rosen. And Kyle Van Noy, touchdown.
Nick Folk gets another point. Who? Jason Hansen, number one all-time scorer? No way. It's got to be Adam Vinatieri.
So,
Adam Vinatieri by a mile.
do you think the Patriots coaching staff is going to be mad that Kyle Van Noy ran this in for a touchdown?
Maybe.
Because if he goes down, the game's over.
Hansen's fourth, though, to your credit.
Missed extra point for...
Oh, my God. Did I lose points now?
I was just going to say, there's still a slight chance on the over for Mickey, but not anymore.
Oh, that was Josh Rosen they had in quarterback.
Yeah.
Who does look like Sam Rosen. It's like his first play of the game, and he throws a... Oh. Yikes, eh?
Jason Hansen is fourth on the all-time list behind Gary Anderson, Morton Anderson, and Adam Vinatieri. At least they have consistency at one position.
I just saw maybe the funniest YouTube comment I've ever seen.
Patriots with another interception. Oh, they put in Felipe Franks.
Yeah.
Well, that was something. One more kneel down and this game is done. Well, that's the game. You can tell Fat Guy and I are ran out of things to talk
Yeah,
about.
we totally have.
So you guys all have a good night. Congrats on anyone who had
Cheers. Sorry, guys.
the under. Congrats on anyone who was on the Patriots. And yeah, thank you guys all for watching. And we will see you on well, next time we'll be on as the Sunday night picks video. So we'll see you guys then.